The pitch is looped towards shortstop. Petroselli's back. He's got it. The Red Sox win. That is pandemonium on the field.
Welcome to the Great American Collectibles Show, brought to you each week by the National Sports Collectors Convention. Join us every Wednesday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and get the latest news from the greatest experts in the sports collectibles world. You can watch us on the Great American Collectibles Facebook page, as well as YouTube, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Pandora, iHeartRadio, or any of your favorite podcast platforms. And now your hosts, award-winning sports collectibles author Tom Zappola and Boston radio personality Lou Blasi.
Welcome, America. How you guys doing? Louis, Paul, Steve, how's everyone doing?
Good. How are you?
Good. You know, Lou, I was thinking, Boston sports personality, what radio have you not done? Right? You've done some sock stuff. You've done
all over the place. Yeah.
You've done talk shows. You've done political stuff. You've done just about everything, right? Is there anything you haven't done? Right?
No, I grew up in talk radio, and I just love talk radio, and that's the path I followed. So
yeah, I mean, you've had some pretty cool shows. You had a few controversial shows, if I recall, in the early days.
Yes, of course.
But they were good. Welcome, Great America.
Time.
Say that again.
I've killed some sponsors in my time.
Yeah, you have. Welcome to the Great American Collectible Show. Tom Zapp. Our new co-host, along with Rico, Lou Blasi, as many of you know, John Mallory has gone on to bigger and better things. Actually, not bigger and better things, but he's had some opportunities come up that he's taking advantage of, and we're still very close, all of us. I talked to John yesterday. Mallory's a good guy, and he'll be appearing once in a while. Our guest of honor today, Steve Verkman, the CEO of Leland's and Clean Sweep. Steve, how does that sound, man? You know, CEO of Leland's, pretty soon Heritage, all of them, right? One day. And another guy, the guy in the middle, one of my dear friends. Paul, how long have we known each other? Only like 3 years now?
Yeah,
About 3 years. But this guy here, for some reason, he grew on Rico and I and Mallory. And he has become kind of like family to the show. Paul Borges from PB Collectibles. Paul has a gigantic card shop in downtown Newton. It's 4 feet by 8 feet, but he does pretty damn well. So
we're seeing half of it now.
Hey, listen, a little programming note first from my buddy Rico. This coming weekend, Saturday, October 4th, from 10 to 6, Rico will be appearing for Cardboard Promotion sports card shows at the Solomon Pond Mall in Marlborough, Massachusetts. Rico's going to be doing a signing along with his good buddy and our good friend Jimmy Lomborg. And you know who else is going to be? You know who else is going to be there, Louis?
No,
Ernie D. Gregorio.
Oh God.
Providence, Rhode Island boy, Paul. We're all familiar with Ernie.
I know Ernie.
Providence, Rhode Island, great college basketball player. Greatest pass in the history of college basketball. That one pass, greatest pass ever. So Rico will be there on Saturday, October 4th, from 10 to 6. Stop in, say hi. I don't know how much he's charging for an autograph. You can have your picture taken, do whatever you want.
Can we get Rico to go one-on-one with him? See how that works?
You know something? Well, Rico's all about – Ernie's my age. So Rico's about, 8 or 9 years older than Ernie. So I think Ernie would kick his ass.
I don't think so.
No. No way?
No, I don't.
All right, listen, Paul. The reason we asked Paul to come on is ALS – for many of us, hits close to the heart. I just lost a very dear friend about a month ago. Lawyer, local, known him my whole life. Died at 70 years old. Louis, did you know Armin Hyatt?
Oh yeah, I knew Armin. Yep.
Yeah, Armin passed away from ALS about a month ago. Youth sports coach, just a great guy. And we all know about Pete Frates and the ice bucket challenge, how that all started. Well, Paul, you just had a fundraiser for a friend of yours. Why don't you tell us about it and tell us about the organization so that maybe people can make a donation?
Yeah, I have. This is my third friend that has come down with ALS. It's a horrible, horrible disease. My friend Bob Martley, we had a fundraiser. He's from Portsmouth. We went to Middletown together through the school system. And he's about 62, beautiful twin girls, married. Great family guy, worked in the Teamsters, and he's come down with ALS. He's had it for about a year. He's got a great attitude, but he's got a long haul to go. So we had a fundraiser on Saturday night, this past Saturday, at Knights of Columbus here. We were able to raise some very, very good money. And now what we're asking for is anybody that would like to donate to ALS, which is a dreadful disease, to go to the TDI, and they can make a donation. I think, Lou, you had it. There it is, ALS TDI. You could make a donation there. It's a great, great organization. I mean, they do great, great work. I have been up there a couple of times. They're doing, hopefully one day there'll be a cure for this. It is a dreadful disease.
I think that, at some point in time, I have great faith in technology and the medical field. I really do, for personal reasons. And I think that it's just a matter of time that they will be able to combat this hideous disease. Steve, have you ever had anyone you're close to or friends that have had ALS?
I have not, fortunately, so I can't share that experience. I have a couple of friends that, one of my closest friend has prostate cancer. It's come back 3 times, despite all the technology, but no one had ALS.
Louis?
No, I haven't been touched by ALS, fortunately, but me personally, anyway. I mean, obviously, seen it around in my groups and things like that, but not me.
Yeah, the story. Armin, my friend, Armin played basketball every single day at the local gym. And when he called to tell me what was going on, I said, what happened? What did you? He said that he'd be running up and down the court, and he would stop to take a jump shot, and his right hand, he shot with his right hand. His right hand would like either go limp or lock, and the ball would go like 10 feet. So he thought it was a problem with a tendon and all that stuff. And then the left hand started, and obviously the rest is history. So
it starts either from the feet up or from the head down.
Yeah.
And my friend that has it now, it's from the feet up. And then I had another very good friend who passed a few years back, David Lees, and that's where I met Pete Frates, so forth. So yeah, it's a dreadful disease.
Pete Frates, it's just amazing what that young man did for ALS research. Pete, for those of you that don't know, Pete played for Boston College.
Yep.
Baseball player for Boston College. Actually, he was captain, wasn't he?
Yeah.
I think he was. Yeah, he was the captain of the BC baseball team. Came down with ALS, and the whole ice bucket challenge kind of morphed into a worldwide phenomenon. And they raised millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. Pete was a very special young man. All right, Paul. So you can make donations to
ALS.
again.
Yep. 480 Arsenal Street, Suite 201, Watertown, Mass. 02472.
And go on to als.net, www.als.net. Paul, thanks for stopping by, man. Hey, listen.
Thank you so much. Thank you for.
So wait a second. You're gonna help me out tomorrow? You have an extra tick?
Oh yeah, tomorrow should be fun. Yeah, I just wanted to show you something I got.
We shouldn't do this public because the Yankees are trying to keep everyone out.
That's right. Wait a second.
They're going to need it tomorrow, but it should be fun. But I did get one priceless thing that I want to show you into the shop.
Go ahead.
Came in yesterday. It's my little grandson.
And you got it graded. Awesome. Hey, listen, have fun at the ball game tomorrow night. Go Red Sox, and maybe you'll bring them a little luck.
Yeah. Steve, take care. I'll see you at the next show.
Take care. Bob Borges from PB Collectibles.
Hi, Bob.
All right, Steve. First of all, Stephen, you've had a great summer. This has been a whirlwind summer for you, right?
Yeah, it's been the big thing. The national with the two companies is crazy. So everything, everything's very different there, and they're totally separate. But it's interesting trying to
And two different the two companies really have two different personalities, which that's a good thing, I think. But let me ask you this: so how do you split your time? How do you split your time between both companies? Or do you just leave it to them to run it? Are you back and forth? How far is Leland's from Clean Sweep?
I mean, I'm there as much as I need to be there. They do a great job, running things there. But they're, when something comes up, there's big decisions to be made. Of course, all the headaches and the problems I hear about that. All the difficult things come to me. I don't even see necessarily. Someone picks up a 48 leaf set, I'll hear about it, but I don't even see it, which is culturally weird for me given my career. Running a smaller company, but everything gets done perfectly. They do a great job. I'm very lucky, and I'm like an hour and a half away each way to 2 hours each way. It's a tough drive, but we get it done, and we exhibited shows together, and we do deals together and everything else. So we work together very actively, and we just get it done.
Now, do you have a key person over at Leland's? Is it Jordan, somebody else, or is it a whole team?
Well, it's all of them. I mean, everyone, Leland's, everyone has their own defined job that they do. They're all very good at it. So everyone has the areas they work with, and and then if we have to get everybody together for a marketing decision or something like that, or a scheduling issue, we'll do that. But everybody has their has their little niche they deal with, or maybe more than a niche, and then they do it.
Well, right now, I know Leland's has a pop-up auction going on, and I told you since Jordan wasn't able to join us today, Lou and I would kind of handle it. So it's just for the general population out there. This is a great pop-up auction. It's a couple of days, I believe, but they have some really, really cool stuff. A 1979 Topps Wayne Gretzky rookie PSA 7. Those are some of the other. That's just a great little item, Louis. What else do they have?
What I noticed on the Leland's on the listing site was there's a lot of basketball there. It kind of struck me how much basketball there was there. Is basketball starting to challenge, because of the inclusion of the modern market, starting to challenge baseball in the auctions?
Well, I think for the newer cards, I mean, this is not my area of expertise. I think the basketball market's far bigger than baseball. Vintage, there's just not as much basketball to collect. But, starting in 1980, I think the basketball card market is far bigger dollar-wise than the baseball market, because of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, and all the other guys. You just don't have the equivalent in baseball. Maybe lately, or Aaron Judge, but it's just not, it's just not the same thing. So I'd say the modern basketball market is the
I agree with you, Steve. My grandson, he's gravitated, and he and all of his friends have gravitated to basketball. And I'll tell you, man, what's hot is these signed cards by these modern and ultra-modern basketball players. That's what they're looking for, signed cards. I mean, it's huge. But on the Leland's end, see, guys like us, the vintage guys, they've got some great stuff, some various signed basketball cards. Cliff Hagan, Dave Bing, one of my favorites, Cazzie Russell, Adrian Dantley. A lot of signed basketball cards. And for vintage basketball collectors, man, there's value there, and those are real hot.
Yeah, they are. And the basketball ones were among the least that were signed. Baseball, of course, was first. I'd say football and hockey vintage signed cards are easier to get than the basketball ones for whatever reason. You do see them. Not that they're easy to get, but they're just more available. The players would sign, and maybe the sports were more popular, for whatever reason. But yeah, we get those. Depending on who it is, and if it's the right card, they go nuts at auction.
You know what else I noticed? I noticed that some of Clean Sweep is rubbing off on Leland's, because I've never seen this. Maybe I've missed it, but they have some signed historic memorabilia. Taft, Henry Clay, Washington, some pretty cool stuff that's signed. Booker T. Washington, by the way. They never got into, I don't think they've ever gotten into historic. I could be wrong, but I know you at Clean Sweep, every once in a while, you come up with some gems yourself.
Yeah, they've always been in it, and they have a mailing list for it. But yeah, I mean, at Clean Sheet maybe it stands out a little more. But Leland has always sold the historical stuff and pop culture items and things like that. That's something we're looking to possibly expand, but it's a tricky market with the authentication and everything. Like the rock and roll memorabilia and the other stuff's become a big thing lately. So there's a lot of people doing that stuff as well. But we definitely, Leland's definitely has customers for that stuff, and we love the historical items. We love working with them. They're so great. I think they're so undervalued. Personally,
I do too. I really am getting interested in some of that stuff. There's some great historic stuff out there. Louis, if you recall, when we first started, Steve, I don't know if you know this, but Lou was with Rico and I at the very beginning of the show for several years, and then we had moved to another studio. But Lou, if you recall. Every other week, remember we used to have Josh Evans on with us.
That's right.
Yeah. We had Josh on one week and then Ken Golden on the next, and they would each do a 10-minute segment. And Josh was absolutely hysterical. Josh Evans was the founder of Leland's, but he would come on with us, Lou. You remember? He would sing. He would tell jokes. He never knew what was going to come out of his mouth. Remember?
I was bouncing around the site today and saw Josh's picture and go, "Oh, Josh was a great guy."
He was fantastic.
We had so much fun with him.
And he actually co-hosted with Rico I and JM at a couple of the nationals. So he's sorely missed, and he was a great pioneer. Steve, what did you say to the hobby?
Oh, absolutely, especially with memorabilia and equipment and things like that. Yeah, and the photographs. I mean, some of those markets might not exist if it wasn't for him.
I mean, I remember at the very beginning, I mean, when this whole thing exploded with the internet, I mean, I remember I couldn't wait to get the Mastronet catalog and the Leland's catalog. Those two catalogs were they were gold at the very beginning, weren't they?
Oh, absolutely. Like as a bidder, at that time, obviously, I wasn't running Leland's. As a bidder, I would pour through those things like the fine tooth comb, trying to find the weaknesses, the things that the ambiguity.
Sure, of course.
Descriptions, and I would read them for hours, and they were a lot of fun to read. I always liked. I mean, I'm sounding self-serving, but here, and I don't mean to, but philosophically, I did prefer the Leland's catalogs with the shorter descriptions to the Mastronet things where they would have 5 paragraphs about the Old West when describing an old back card set, and then they wouldn't really describe the condition of the cards. You have these writers that are just doing writing that didn't mean anything, and get a headache reading it, especially when it's 500 pages. So I just get to the point. I'm not, because I was trying to read the whole book as a bidder to, as a dealer, to try to buy the good deals, and I can't. My head will explode reading all this nonsense that has almost nothing to do with the lot.
I like Leland's role in the market because we all are entertained by people throwing millions around at various cards that come up and whatever. Because we love the big ticket items, of course, but we can't participate in them. But in Leland's, as I'm looking at the page today, this is when all collectors can gather around the campfire and get involved in the hobby at Leland's.
Absolutely. Before we take a break, Steve, what is your vision of both Leland's and Clean Sweeps? I mean, will they ever merge into one company someday? Will you keep them separate? Or do you have any kind of a business plan, or is it going to be as we see it today?
Well, we do. I mean, right now we're looking to grow both companies. We are not planning on merging the two companies. We do the same thing, but we don't do the same thing. There's things that do wonderfully in a Leland's auction that might not do as well in a Clean Sweep auction. Then there's deep, what you might call deep collector cards, the deep collector autographs, things like that might do a lot better in a Clean Sweep auction than it would in a Leland's auction. And like you said, each auction has a different personality. So we have no plans at all, to give anything up. We're looking to grow all the different auctions, going forward.
Awesome. All right, Steve Berkman's in the house. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, it is week 2 of the Final 4 of the AI Great Basketball Tournament. We'll give the results of that. And then Steve's with us for the rest of the show. So hang in there, and we shall be right back.
I'm Rebecca Curry, a two-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free, integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, Mile High. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
For more than 30 years, Robert Edward Auctions has been the industry leader when it comes to helping you realize the most money for your baseball cards and sports memorabilia. In addition to their unparalleled reputation for honesty and integrity, they reach the largest number of bidders in the business and offer lower seller's fees, as well as generous cash advances up front on your valuable material. Contact them today at 908-226-9900. That's 908-226-9900 or at robertedwardauction.com.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectibles Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Well, look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUseBats.com.
Okay, we are back, and it is time right now, Steve. This is the height of the year. I put a lot of work into this. There's not one person in the United States that appreciates it. Not one, except my wife, Ellen does. It's time right now for the GAX AI Sweet 16 NBA all-time tournament, powered by Danny Shapiro, the basketball savant, and sponsored by our pal, Paul Borges at PB Collectibles. Remember, if you have a bitch about this segment, contact either Danny or Paul, not me. Okay.
Well, Tom, with the opening of the NFL and the college football season and the Major League playoffs, it's perfectly timed.
It was one of those ideas that I had at the wrong time. I kind of agree with that. Anyway, so we're in the Final Four. Last week, the 1983 Philadelphia 76ers beat the 1966 Philadelphia 76ers by a score of 116 to, no, was that? Yeah, that was last week, Lou, right? No, I'm sorry. They did not.
116 to 99.
That's correct. All right. So this week.
That was that.
No, we screwed up, but that's okay.
We screwed up.
That's all right. This week.
I tried to help, and I screwed it up worse.
I know, that's really. So anyways, this week, it is the game between the 82 Sixers and the 66 Sixers. Now, this is interesting because you really have two great teams. You have the 82-83 Sixers led by Moses Malone, and the 66-67 76ers led by Wilt Chamberlain. So here is the matchup. Center matchup, Malone averaged 24 a game, and the Sixers, Chamberlain averaged 24 a game. They were both MVPs. On the wings, though, for the 82-83 Sixers, you had Julius Erving and Andrew Toney. For the 66-67 76ers, you had Hal Greer and Chet Walker, along with Billy Cunningham. The key advantage, though, for the 82-83 Sixers, strong defense, rebounding, clutch play, athleticism. And for the 66-67 team, you had a dominant team, high-scoring offense, and passing at a faster pace and playing at a faster pace. However, if you took both of these teams and you looked at it, there was certainly an advantage for the 82-83 Sixers. With the rule changes, the NBA introduced a three-point line in 1979, so that was definitely advantageous for the 82-83 Sixers. Probably not the 66-67 Sixers if they would have played during that time. There were some rule changes with the NBA three-point line, talent and scheme, coaching, all of that. To make a long story short, this one here was kind of a blowout because the final score that AI has is the 1982-83 Sixers 116 and the 1966-67 Sixers 99. Kind of a blowout. Next week, to get into the championship game, we have the Golden State Warriors from 2016-17 playing the 1996-97 Chicago Bulls. That's going to be a hell of a game, Lou, if you really think about it.
I think so, too, because similar eras. So
yeah, I think that's going to be. You have Steph Curry and Michael Jordan going head-to-head with their two best teams. All right, let's get back to Steve.
Wouldn't you have loved to watch Dr. J drive on Wilt Chamberlain? Wouldn't that have been something?
God, you remember that? You remember that photo? Actually, it was a clip of him leaving the foul line in midair and jamming it. That was just a great, iconic picture of him. Were you a Sixers fan, Steve, growing up?
I wasn't that into basketball. I liked Larry Bird and the Celtic team. The Knicks were very good in the 80s, so there was no team to. It was hard to root for them. So I grew up with the 80s Celtics team.
Well, a couple of weeks ago, the Celtics team of Bird, McHale, Parrish, they got knocked off by Michael Jordan's team, I think, wasn't it, Lou?
Yeah, one of them, yeah.
All right. So you have a gigantic auction going on right now, a clean sweep. As a matter of fact, I could not believe some of the items you have. starting with that lot number 1, that E90-1 Shoeless Joe Jackson rookie card. Can you tell us about that card, Steve?
It's just an awesome card. I don't know if you remember. I think I showed it to you before we got it graded at the National. It's just a beautiful card. It's got great centering, great color. That card often has registration and print problems that are typical for the E90-1 issue. So this outstanding eye appeal. There's a tiny scrape on the back that keeps that at 1.5, but this is head and shoulders above any comparable card in that grade. Even the 3s don't look as good as that card does. It's a card that stands out. Everyone I showed that to at the National, their mouth just dropped. I mean, that card was some serious eye candy. So, now, aside from the obvious significance of the card, now with it's almost a certainty that Joe Jackson's going to get in the Hall of Fame. So that means every Hall of Fame rookie card collector needs this card. The pricing may not change that much, but if it's going to change, it's probably going to be on the rookie card, because any Joe Jackson card right now is a big deal. I mean, they've gone up in the last few years, but who knows what could happen.
Yeah.
But the rookie card, because so many collectors want to get the rookie card of every Hall of Famer, so now they're going to need that card. So to check off the list, even though it's not the rarest Joe Jackson card, but it's one of the best ones. And dollar-wise, that one I would think has the most upside potential, were he to get in the Hall of Fame compared to his other cards.
Was this a known card, Steve, or did it come out of a shoebox somewhere?
No, it came from this incredible collection. One of my top clients. I probably sold the card to the person $3,000 30 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Something like $2,500 or something like that. So it's just it's been sitting in a collection for 30 years.
Steve, do you get a lot of that? I mean, we were talking about it a couple of weeks ago. In an auction like you're having this week, how many lots in your auction?
A little less than 900 in this one.
Okay, so you have 900. How many of those 900? Because the answer has always been pretty much the same. How many are new finds that are in that 900?
Oh, it varies. I mean, because there's more regular stuff in there,
right?
I mean, that's freshed up. It could be anywhere from a quarter to half. But I don't know how you define new find. I mean, it's something I knew where the card was because I sold it.
Right.
Market for 30 years. So I don't know how. It's a tricky definition thing. Like in terms of like a shoebox that's sitting in an attic for like 80 years. That's very rare nowadays. It happens from time to time, but almost everything's been sold at one point. It's moved around, but it can happen. But it's unusual. Or if someone had the collection their whole life and no one knew about it, that happens a lot. Then it comes to market.
Lou?
We've been processing the introduction of investment money into the hobby, guys who aren't necessarily collectors at all, just investing and turning over cards. And we've been coming to the conclusion, we were kind of against it at the beginning, but we're coming around to it as we process our thoughts on it. That's something like houses like Leland probably helped precipitate, right? Because you guys are dealing with collectors as well as baseball card collectors of other forms. So bringing that money in has been a boon to the industry, and it's probably churning up these cards being turned over right now, right?
Oh, there's no question about it. But I always tell people to be a collector first. But there's a lot of money. I mean, just a crazy amount of money in the business now, and they want these trophy pieces. And there's more there aren't enough trophy pieces to feed all the mouths that they're looking for, all the hands that are looking for it, so to speak. So it's definitely a seller's market for high quality material. And we've always had those kind of people in the business. Now I would say more than ever, but a lot of the time I'd like to think these guys throw off investors, then the problem is then they end up liking this stuff. Like, oh, this card's too cool, I don't really want to sell it. I'm gonna make money on it, but I like it. Because they start getting attached to it, and the stuff of course gets resold and traded. But I think people would sell their stock before they would sell their Joe Jackson rookie card.
But that happens in investors. I'm separating it, collectors from stock, stock investing, things like that. But if you do art, you do whatever else you do for investing, that kind of becomes the same thing. You buy it and then you think it's kind of cool. You want to hang on to it. It has some value to you.
I think what happens, because I see these guys at shows sometimes, like, I bought it as an investment and I was going to resell it, but I like it, so I don't really want to sell it now. Especially if it's something really cool, and it's not always about the money. Not everybody, of course, you can never pick the peak of the market to sell something. And things do. There are trading ranges for cards, especially the more the regular issue stuff. They come around, but a lot of the time, People are funny about that, but the investment money, it does play a huge part in the in the business. But I'd say they're investors / collectors. I don't know there's that many pure investors in here. They get into it and they put money in it, and but eventually if they need money, I guess they sell.
I mean, I think at that ultra modern level, you may find more of those, at that level. But who the hell knows? But listen, this is a shout out to one of our big followers and viewers, a good friend, Joe Marino. Joe, lot number 8, clean sweep, has an E90-2 Honus Wagner, it's PSA 1. Joe has been on the hunt for an E90-2 now for about a year that he can afford. I owned this card, not this particular card. I owned one for several years, and I regret that I got rid of it. Did well with it, but I regret it. So, Joe, tell us about that card, Steve.
Yeah, so that might be a perfect card for sure from what you're saying. So it's freshly graded at the National.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna, as you're speaking, I am going to text
sell
him
it
right
for
now. Go ahead, speak. Tell us about the card.
It's a very fully presentable PSA 1. It's got good color and a nice image. The back's got some issues of scraping and stuff. That's the main reason it's a 1. But for a 1, it's a perfectly acceptable card, and it's an affordable version of a very expensive card. That card, aside from the scarcity of it, is very desirable because it's the same image as on the T206 card. So that's a particularly popular Honus Wagner card, and it's especially desirable because of the image.
Well, they've always called it the poor man's T206. Pretty much, it's a great card. It's got beautiful color. Then you also have an E95 Wagner, don't you? Did I see that? Yeah.
That's a really nice card too. I mean, it's interesting. Like in the auction, we have some of these cards low technical grades, but beautiful cards. They present well above their grade, and we've always found there's a great market for that, where people they don't care so much about the technical grade when the cards display well. So that's a really it's a really pretty card, the E95. That's a great that's a classic Honus Wagner card too, that you don't see that much. That's always been an elusive card for whatever
Talk
reason.
just a little bit about the Ken Kelly card and the Goodwin Champion Series, and give us the history of that.
Oh, I mean, I love the 19th century stuff. They're among my favorites. I think they're really undervalued. So in this auction, we have the N162 Goodwins, which one of the ultimate 19th century sets. So we have the King Kelly card, again, in an attractive, presentable one, good color. The card's going to be very popular. And what's good about those cards is, as an auctioneer, we get a lot of bidding on these things because a lot of people can get in on it. It's not going to be a $50,000 card or something. So that's always nice to have a wide variety of people. We also have something which you just never see. We have these ENR playing cards. That's a set that I would argue it's rare. And they have, in some cases, like one card has Cap Anson and Mike King Kelly on the same card. So we have some really cool cards from that. And they've been very popular to this point of the auction. And I haven't seen those in years. These are things that we sold to someone also decades ago, and I just think they're wonderful. I think all those 19th century Hall of Fame cards are just bargains right now, compared to what everything else trades for.
Steve, PSA grading fees are going up. Lead times are getting out there again. How do we reel this in? I mean, is it just going to just spiral out of control again?
Yeah, it's a great question. I mean, it's honestly, it drives us nuts. I mean, it's just one of the hardest things in running the business now is these turnovers. With how long it takes to get things graded, to get them back and process them. It's hard. You do what you can do and you have to manage it, but it doesn't seem like anything's coming down. I don't think any of this is being driven by vintage cards. It just doesn't make sense in this market that people out of the blue are going to send in 5,000 T206 cards to get graded, or something on the scale of the quantity that would move them. Whereas I've never heard of a story of someone grading 5,000 33 Gaudis or play balls, because you're just not going to, there's not that much of that around not graded to move the needle there. I think it's all being driven by the modern cards and the Pokemon and things like that. And I think PSA maybe has decided that, the vintage card business is fine, but it's not that important to them, is my guess. And, they're going to charge what they have to charge, and it's harder. And in their defense, I once had, one of the former number 2 guys I had lunch with him. He made a funny joke. He said, Steve, it takes a really long time to train guys to grade your stuff. All the cards you send in.
Great. Wonderful.
And he's right. He said, if it's Pokemon cards and modern cards, it's very easy to train people to grade, or I shouldn't say very easy, but, easier than it is to start grading DeLongs and Cracker Jacks and, Goodwin Champions and ENR playing cards and, all that kind of oddball stuff us vintage nerds love. That's tricky to grade. And they probably only have 5 people doing that. So, I don't know. It's very frustrating as, in this case, a consumer of it, but, it's probably not going to get better.
Well, I was going to say, what's the solution and what fills this market hole? I mean, there is demand for grading at this point. Is it possible for a grading company to take up the vintage market and take it over and just take advantage of this inefficiency?
You mean not like an SGC or another company?
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? People have tried it and it hasn't worked. The PSA brand is powerful. We all complain about PSA, but at the end of the day, if we have a high-end thing to sell, it's going to go to PSA. That's the thing. And all, they do a great job marketing it. They marketing the company, do a great job marketing their brand. But it's just the turn times are very frustrating. And I don't know what the answer is. And it changes things too, because it's basically in and out the door, realistically $24, $25 to grade a card. So you can't really grade anything unless it's at least $100.
Right.
Like someone sent me a group of sets I'm working on like this morning, and we run into the same dilemma. There's these really nice football sets from 68 and 69, and like, does it pay to get these cards graded or just forget it? Because you don't know what the grades are going to be, and it takes 5 months at $25, and maybe you hit it, maybe you don't. So I think if they lower their prices, they would get far more submissions. But I guess they don't have enough wherewithal to handle that flow or at a price point people are going to be happy with.
How is sets fitting into the market right now? More popular or less popular in the hobby in general?
Oh, I'm sorry. Say that again.
How are sets fitting into the market right now? Are they becoming more popular or less popular? Or does it probably run secularly, right?
No, not really. We love sets. It's a huge part of our business. They go to dealers. They go to collectors. Actually, we've never done better selling sets and partial sets and near sets in the last year than we have in the last year. This stuff flies off our online store. They get enormous bids in our auctions. So because people are looking for stuff, and there's also a little bit of a backlash too. So you could take, like, the other funny thing is, like, we sell a lot of lower grade lots. So we'll have like 100, 200 beat up T206s or Gaudis. These things do great. People are thrilled to get 200 of these without getting started with the slabbing, because the slabbing makes it so expensive. So it's a funny dynamic how, like, the bottom end of the market went up in a lot of cases too for the pre-war cards, because not everybody wants a whole graded set.
Well, something, Steve, you're making a good point, because I would venture to guess that market is the bulk of the hobby, that 80-20 rule. I mean, you've got the average working Joe that can't afford to get an entire collection slabbed, but he wants the collection. So he buys it raw and he keeps it raw. Nothing wrong with that.
No, and some cases it's the billionaires doing it, and they're smart. But they don't have the income. They're just not going to get. They're not going to get that deep into it, or there's still people who want the cards to be in a book. The graded cards are hard to display in a book. When you have a set, you can't just have a whole shelf of them. It's very physically demanding.
Very interesting. Hey, before we take a break, Paul Skeens just signed a deal with Fanatics. So using him as an example, does this limit the value of a Paul Skeens card that I get at spring training from Paul Skeens, and then I get it graded? Does that limit the value of a card that is not being produced by Fanatics?
I'm honestly, I don't know. I wouldn't think so, but of course, just like the autographs with Steiner holograms are always good to have. But if something's just as nice, maybe it gets 10% less. It's not going to be as if it's something that has credible authentication. I don't think it's going to have a massive difference.
Okay. Steve Berkman's in the house. We come back. We've got another segment with Steve. Louis in the house. Lou Blassie with us. So hang in there and we shall return.
Rebecca Curry, a 2-time child cancer survivor, recipient, and advocate for Lucy's Love Bus. The mission of Lucy's Love Bus, 501c3 nonprofit, is to provide joy, comfort, and quality of life for the entire family of children with cancer. Since 2006, they have delivered love and comfort to over 3,000 children with cancer and their family members across New England. The dream of Lucy Grogan, an 11-year-old cancer patient, was to help kids with cancer who are suffering right now, before there is a cure, by offering free integrative therapies like art, music, horseback riding, and many other activities. Unfortunately, Lucy passed away, but her dream lives on, and today Lucy's Love Bus is thriving.
I'm Red Sox Hall of Famer Rico Petrocelli. I hope that you'll consider supporting Lucy's Love Bus and all of those children who have been stricken by cancer. The Great American Collectibles Show is partnering with Lucy's Love Bus to help these kids. Let's continue Lucy's dream. Please go to lucyslovebus.org for more information.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on their tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. Highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
CSA Shows is proud to present the Chantilly Show, being held from October 17th through October 19th, held at the Dulles Expo Center in Chantilly, Virginia, just minutes from the Dulles International Airport. Celebrating 29 years at the same location, there will be over 450 dealer tables exhibiting over 125,000 square feet of space. With both vintage and modern cards and memorabilia, as well as modern-day sports treasures, you're not going to have to look very far for that special card, bat, ball, or autograph. Major auction houses and third-party grading companies will be on site to assist you with your collecting and authentication needs. Some of your favorite superstars will be on hand, including Patriots superstar Rob Gronkowski. Yes, Gronk is coming to the Chantilly Show. Check out this other star-studded cast who will also be appearing. Sean Alexander, Mike Alstott, Brian Bosworth, The Boz, Robert Brazil, Joe DeLaMoliere, Timmy Smith, Lawrence Taylor, Emmett Smith, Mel Blount, Sam Bradford, Ty Law, Dennis Rodman, Dominique Wilkins, and many, many more. For more information, go to the Chantilly Show, csashows.com, where you can find all of your sports collectibles treasures. All right, let's get back to Steve. Steve, some of the other items in this auction, can you rattle off some of them for us?
Yeah, some things that you don't see every day. We have a Zena DiMaggio, one of my all-time favorite cards. One of just the great cards to have a card of him breaking up with the Yankees. There's another card that's just impossible. We have two 1932 U.S. Carmel Babe Ruth cards.
Wow.
And it's canceled. And it's the only slabbed one from PSA. Someone sent that in trying to get the Lindstrom card to complete the set. And we've never seen that before. We have runs of Voskamp's coffees, Bruner's breads, oddball cards from the 50s and 60s. That's fun stuff. There's a good run of C57 hockey black and white cards that, you never see those with the good players. There's a 50 Bowman football set in PSA 7 and 8 that we have broken up as singles. There's just a wide variety of things for every type of collector, but there's a strong concentration of high quality pre-war baseball cards. There's a good offering of collector grade baseball card sets and lots from the 30s through the 70s. There's unopened material. There's great autographed items. Of the key lots, another one of my personal favorites, there's a 1933 Gaudy Lajoie and a PSA 2, which I don't understand why that card isn't double or triple what it sells for. A 33 Gaudy set is much more attainable than a T206 set to make the whole set. So many people have the set minus the Lajoie. It's probably, in my opinion, just as hard to get as the Eddie Plank T206, yet it sells for less, which is weird. So we're looking for that to do some real damage. And as always at a clean sweep auction, people need to remember, you're not bidding against the consignor. You're not bidding against the auction house. But the price is the price. There's going to be some big prices, and there's going to be some good deals. It's a real auction. It's a level playing field. The bid is the bid. The prices are real.
Good point. You also have some funky stuff. You get some entertainment autos that you always have. You always kind of make it fun. Did I see some autographs by astronauts?
Yeah, we got a really cool collection of astronaut stuff. There's a Neil Armstrong photo. I mean, there's all the Apollo guys from the 60s are in there, and there's some really cool autographs of also the cosmonauts. So there's one or two autographs of Yuri Gagarin. So I think that stuff is just great. So yeah, there's a fun section of astronauts. We always have pop culture stuff. There's always all different autographs of entertainment people. There's a JFK signed document that's really nice. There's a really nice display, beautifully framed, of 4 presidents that just looks great. So there's all sorts of material. There's a really nice PSA 10 Albert Pujols game used bat. There's a really nice Ryan Sandberg game used bat. There's some cool Brooklyn Dodgers memorabilia that's fresh to the hobby, including black bats and signs and all sorts of cool stuff that you don't see. Some good pins. So, it's a really balanced auction.
Very cool.
We're very proud of it.
Louis?
Is there an astronaut collectible world out there, or is it more historical memorabilia, that type of lumped in with that? I mean, I know there's Pokemon and there's baseball and there's all kinds of stuff. Is there an astronaut collectors club, so to speak, or market?
Oh, sure. Yeah, people collect space stuff. The big thing is to get things that are actually flown in space. So that's the holy grail of what people will collect. But the autographs are very popular, and that's an international market. People around the world will collect those things. But yeah, the astronaut stuff's always a lot of fun. And we have a decent customer base for that. We've had this is probably the third space/astronaut collection we've handled, and to me, we don't see that every day. So if I'm writing those lots up, I get real excited to own that. I think it's just awesome stuff, and I think they're good deals right now.
Yeah, Lou, that was like when we had Ray Schulte on. I mean, we didn't realize what a big world the Olympic collectors are.
Yeah.
It's just like crazy. It's a worldwide thing. So I could see that. Steve, I do have a question regarding Canada, tariffs, all of that stuff. Do you get involved with that, or has it impacted you at all?
Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, the Canadian customers are upset, and then ultimately they're going to have to pay it, or they're not going to have it. It's just like, going to a city when the sales tax is 18%. You're going to pay it, or you're not going to pay it. I mean, I don't know when that's going to change. Hopefully it will, but it's definitely an issue. And but right now, in the hobby world, nothing's going to change in the short term. It seems like that the collectors are just going to have to adapt.
It's crazy.
It is crazy, but they're kind of in a rock and a hard place.
Let's go back to a little bit the interlacing between Leland's and Clean Sweep. And I guess my question would be, I'm a customer who wants to sell something. Who should I call? Should I call Leland's, or should I call?
Good question. Very good question.
It's a great question, and it doesn't matter. Either whichever one I shouldn't say that lightly like that. Either company will completely take care of you. And what we feel we offer that no one else does is we have different markets and different places to get your stuff in the right place. And a lot of people mix and match, which is really that was my goal when we did our deal. And so there's things again that will do better in Clean Sweep, and there's things that are going to do better in Leland's. Not everything, it's not a cookie cutter thing when you're talking about collectibles. Even if it's just a run of baseball cards and card sets, certain sets do better in certain auctions. And then from our experience between the two companies, we have 5 different types of auctions, so we can put things in the right place to help everybody out. So that's what we're trying to do, is get everything in the right place, get the best results for our consigners, and also have a consistent, simple message for our customers. So they know where to look.
Do you do that at intake, or do you have that discussion? Like, maybe we should go Leland's with this. Maybe we should.
That's a good question. Like if Lou submits something to you and he says, "Here, Steve, I'd like to submit this to Clean Sweep," and you take a look at the item, so there's a possibility you'll say to Lou, "You know something, Lou? This belongs in the Leland's auction."
Yeah, we go through that all the time. Like last year, one of the funny things in the Leland's auction last time was Willie Mays underwear and clothing items. That was a bizarre thing. And, someone gave that to me at a show, someone I know, and I'm like, "Oh, that's definitely a Leland's lot." And
right, who authenticated that? All I want to know.
Sorry, they did great with it. So yeah, there's certain things. Yeah, we'll sit down and we'll move things between auctions, and even things we own. I'll sit with the guys and we'll go, "Okay, which is it a Clean Sweep lot? Is it a Leland's lot? Which auction should it go in?" So we spent a lot of time, thinking these things out. To manage things, the right way.
Do you see Hef at all anymore?
Sure. I just saw him a few weeks ago.
I love Hef. He's a great guy. We're very good friends, good Facebook friends, and he's up to his eyeballs in little kids. It's really, really, really funny. Hey, Louis, why don't you tell our viewers and listeners about Finkelmeyer Insurance? Collectibles insurance, hugely important.
Well, the Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency has been insuring collectibles since the early 1980s. The late Tom Finkelmeyer wrote the original sports memorabilia insurance policy when no one else in the industry was insuring sports collectibles. A lifelong collector of sports cards, Tom Sr. instilled the love of collecting in Tom Jr., who's the current president of Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency. Tom Finkelmeyer Jr., with 3 decades of insurance experience, has paired that expertise with 50 years of collecting, and with a litany of professional designations, including counseling and risk management. Tom covers every aspect of your collectibles insurance needs. Unlike other companies that just sell collectibles insurance directly to consumers online, Finkelmeyer Insurance Agency is the only independent retail agent who specializes in sports memorabilia and collectibles nationwide. Representing all major companies that sell collectibles insurance, there's no agent that insures more collectors, dealers, appraisers, auctioneers, or events in the collectibles hobby than Finkelmeyer Insurance. Our good friend and hobby legend John Tovey of JT Sports has been using Finkelmeyer Insurance for over 20 years. For more information, go to thefia.com. That's THEFIA.com. That's Finkelmeyer Insurance, where collecting is their passion and our passion too.
Steve, quick question. Last week we used Robin Yount as an example. It's his birthday, just turned 70. That demographic from that time span, the Robin Younts, the Wade Boggs, have those cards picked up any steam at all? I'm talking about the players, the Hall of Famers from that time period, Dennis Eckersley's, all of those guys. Have they picked up a head of steam?
I'd say they're solid. The people like those things, that they're usually part of themes, again, touching back to people want Hall of Fame rookie cards and things like that. I haven't heard, that many Robin Yount collectors per se, or Dennis Eckersley collectors per se, but, their game used equipment, of course, is very desirable. I'd say their stuff fits into larger categories, but, anything of quality, everybody wants. So, all those cards are solid, but they're not, but they're plentiful. It's just a question.
Well, you know what it is? I mean, that the demographic, those are the Gen Zers, I believe. Those are the guys that are in their 50s now, or that late 40s, 50s, maybe even early 60s. And those are the guys that grew up in their wheelhouse. So, I guess I'm wondering if that group of people, if we're seeing anything in a spike.
I wouldn't say so. I'd say there's
no.
Well, if the cards are, if you have a Robin Yount rookie card or whatever in a 7, 8, or a 9, they're going to be solid. They'll have some kind of trading range, but I wouldn't say there's special interest in it. But people do like those 70s sets. The 70s baseball card sets have appreciated significantly in the last few years. There's more people that are getting into that. They love the idea of buying the whole set and getting those, whereas they were looked down upon for a while. So I'd say it's a solid market. I wouldn't say it's up or down.
Is it
late 80s, early 90s? I'm sorry, Lou, go ahead.
I was looking at the site and I was noticing different values on different Hall of Famers. And Tom brings up a good point. Maybe it is era based, but I'm wondering if it is era based because Robin Yount was my wheelhouse. That's nostalgia for me. But I have no interest in him. Derek Jeter, I'm certainly interested in.
See, that's interesting, Louis.
Yeah.
You're bringing up a really good point.
Yeah. So is it player based or is it era based?
No, it's player based. There's no quite. People start with the players, and to a degree, it's team based and won championships and what people are after. It makes a big difference.
I mean, Louis, I think that's because of the snapshot in time too. I mean, it's like saying, when you and I both grew up, I'm a little older than you, but Yaz was, Yaz in 67, 68, 69, 70, he was a god. Now you look at Yaz and he was a great player, but there's some modern players that I kind of gravitate towards, and I'm sure you do too, right?
Yeah,
guys,
sure.
Right. I mean, so I think that's part of it. I think it's the player. I think it's the time that goes by. Steve, when does the auction end?
Okay, so people need to know the auction ends on Wednesday, October 8th. Initial bids need to be in by 8 o'clock Eastern time. The auction ends on a lot-by-lot basis. So starting at 12:30 a.m. Eastern time, if any lot, say lot 200, does not get a bid between 12:30 and 12:45 a.m., that lot closes out. So that's how we do it. Everything's lot by lot. And your first bids have to be in by 8 o'clock Eastern.
Well, you know what the good thing about that is that people don't have to stay up to 8 o'clock in the morning for all of the lots to be. I mean, that's some of the rules that some of the auction houses they're head scratches. I think you do it the right way, and I definitely support that.
Yeah, and additionally, we do it so it doesn't, even when you do that, it's starting at 2 a.m. to keep things from getting out of control Eastern time. There's a 5% penalty in order to discourage people waiting till the last second of 15 minutes.
Yeah.
That doesn't go till 4.
Smart move.
Great idea. Yeah.
From going to 5 o'clock in the morning, we incentivize it.
Excellent. Clean Sweep Auctions, Leland's, both great auction houses, headed up by this young man, and he is a young man compared to Louis and I.
Yes.
Steve, I guess we're going to see you at the Philly show in December. Rico and I will be broadcasting from there, and we're going to do a special 90-minute show. So obviously you'll be on with us along with some of our other great friends.
Sure, of course.
With that being said, good luck the rest of the way with the auction, and we will see you down the road.
Sounds great. Thanks so much, guys.
Louis, great job as usual.
Fun.
To our viewers and listeners, again, thanks for all the support, man. We could not do it without you guys. It's been a great year, going to continue to be a great year, and we look forward to seeing you down the road. With that being said, happy collecting.